Hey guys, Matt Lengel here once again with Denver Private Wealth Management. I'd love to talk to you today about the Secure Act. This is a piece of legislation that was recently passed by Congress, which instituted sweeping changes into retirement plans and the people that are allowed to benefit from them, the likes of which we haven't seen in a very long time. So, this affects all types of investors, whether you're young and you're starting off, all the way through, trying to supercharge, save for retirement, and then people that are recently retired. And so some of these changes that we're going to see is, let's say you are young and maybe you inherited some type of an IRA, traditional IRA. Well, in the past, we used to be able to take that inherited IRA and then stretch it over the course of our lifetime. Now, just a reminder of why that's so important is traditional IRAs have never been taxed before. So the arrangement we have with the government is the government says, hey, I'm not going to tax you on this money now, but when you pull it out, I'm going to tax it as if you just made it at work. So let's say you pulled $10,000 out of a pre-tax traditional IRA. The government's going to tax you as if you made $10,000 additional working that year. So if you inherit an IRA and you're still in your working years in your high tax bracket, it can be advantageous from a planning strategy in the past to try to stretch it over a long period of time, over your lifetime, and then just take little bits of it along the way. So you're not paying a lot of tax on it. Well, the government, and frankly, probably rightfully so, decided to close this planning opportunity. And so now, if you inherit a traditional IRA, that money must be distributed from the account over 10 years. So just a little change to be thinking about if you're inheriting an IRA, or you think that might be coming on down the road, because the planning techniques we've used in the past may be different now. Additionally, who can participate into 401ks has changed. 401ks are an incredibly advantageous way to be supercharging for retirement by saving into a tax-preferred bucket where the government takes care of you from a tax perspective because they want their American citizens being financially independent and stable in retirement. In the past, you had to be working at least 1,000 hours a year to be eligible to contribute into your 401k. Well, that number is actually decreased now to 500 hours in a year for 3 consecutive years. So if you're part-time working 500 hours a year for 3 consecutive years, you are now eligible to participate in your 401k and get the 401k match. Along with that, the government's trying to figure out how to get more people involved in the 401ks. Now, 401ks can be incredibly cumbersome for smaller employees from an administrative perspective, from a cost perspective. And so in the past, maybe Joe's Barbershop, which had 3 barbers, couldn't institute a 401k plan because they weren't big enough. They didn't have the resources. Well, the government has aimed to solve this problem by letting Joe's Barbershop team up with Mike's Pizzeria down the street and Phil's Bakery at the Caddy Corner, where they can now pool their resources to offer a 401k plan to all their employees and all the participants across those different companies, which is, once again, just a great opportunity for people that maybe weren't saving for retirement in the past. Well, check with your employer, because that might be an opportunity now. And same thing with business owners. Maybe you thought it was too much in the past. Well, this is another way to be able to spread that cost across. And then finally, for people that are retired, once again, the government always wants their cut. So you get to decide on the front end or the back end when you pay them, but the government's always going to get paid. And so the understanding of a pre-tax or traditional IRA or 401k is that you have agreed with the government that you are going to pay them not now, but on the back end when you take the money out. And frankly, the government gets pretty antsy. So in the past, at age 70 and a half, the government would make you start taking something called RMDs, or required minimum distributions, saying, hey, time's up. This money's been sitting here on the sidelines for too long. I need my cut. I need you to start giving me some taxes from this money. And they make you start distributing that account over the rest of your life. Well, the government's appreciated that people are living longer and working longer now as well. And so because of that, they've actually pushed the age back from 70 and a half, from when you have to start taking your RMDs, to 72. And that year and a half can actually create a lot of planning opportunities if you're working with the right type of advisors, such as us at Denver Private Wealth Management, where we can look at planning techniques to have those artificially low years of income before you have to start taking RMDs, and potentially look at Roth conversions or other ways to supercharge and make sure that we are paying as little as tax as possible on those required minimum distributions in retirement, as well as making sure that we're keeping those tax obligations low as you live your day-to-day life in those golden years. So I know it's a lot of information. Check out our blog article if you'd like to get a little more in depth. And then also feel free to reach out to us at Denver Private Wealth Management. We would love to have a conversation. Conversation's always free. So thank you for listening. Hope to hear you guys soon.